Nigeria, as a sovereign nation, has always demonstrated an unalloyed commitment towards improving the socio-economic well-being of our citizenry. These efforts have been amplified in numerous programs initiated and superintended by various administrations in the country. As a leading light in the African continent in areas such as economy, population, and good governance, Nigeria has assiduously projected a vision of an independent Africa where sustainable growth and development are primed. The new Partnership for Africa's Development, (NEPAD), was established in 2001 as an economic development program of the African Union. But in 2018, the African Union Assembly adopted the African Union Development Agency, (AUDA), as a vehicle for the acceleration and implementation of regional programs.
I respectfully thank and welcome His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, to this historic occasion and express my unreserved gratitude to Mr. President for his esteemed presence at this virtual signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Committee of Heads of States and Government participating in the African Peer Review Mechanism and the Federal Republic of Nigeria relating to the Technical Assessment Mission and the second country visit to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I immensely thank the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Nigerian Focal Point, Barrister Boss Mustafa, and the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, the East-Wide Chairperson APRM Panel of Eminent Persons, Professor Ibrahim Agbola Gambari, for their dedication, guidance, consistency, and encouragement to the Secretariat and National Governing Council of Nigeria. My sincere appreciation also goes to the Nigerian Second Review panelist, Ambassador Mona Matai of Egypt, and the CEO of APRM Continental Secretariat AD, Professor Edi Maloka, and his team for their support, commitment, and role towards achieving a successful second review process of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Senior Government Officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to welcome Your Excellencies and distinguished personalities to this virtual support mission and signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Committee of Heads of State and Government participating in the African Peer Review Mechanism and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As you are aware, the government of Nigeria has consistently supported the strengthening of democracy and good governance throughout the African continent, including under the umbrella of the African Peer Review Mechanism.
As an offshoot of the AU that initiates and executes development strategies of the Union, AUDA has as its mandate to coordinate and implement priority continental and regional projects towards promotion of regional integration that will accelerate realization of Agenda 2063, to strengthen capacity of AU member states and regional bodies to design, plan, and implement Africa's priority development programs within the framework of African Union's Agenda 2063, to provide knowledge-based and technical advisory support to AU member states and regional economic communities, RECs, for the implementation of AU common policies and internationally agreed development goals, to undertake full range of resource mobilization, and to serve as the continent's technical interface with all Africa's development stakeholders and development partners. To fast-track and achieve a more robust development within this framework, in 2003, the leaders in their wisdom established the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM, as an instrument to monitor and self-assess developments in individual countries under the Auda-Nepad mandate.
The African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM, is a voluntary assessment tool instituted by African heads of states in 2003 within the framework of the Indian Partnership for Africa's Development to promote good governance and sustainable development on the continent. It focuses on 4 thematic areas: democracy and political governance, economic governance and management, corporate governance, socio-economic development. The APRM process seeks to entrench good governance practices in participating states by deepening the principles of democracy.
In view of the fact that the instrument will improve governance and well-being of its citizenry, Nigeria in 2003 voluntarily acceded to the mechanism and was first peer-reviewed in 2008. Consequently, in 2019, Nigeria began her second self-assessment across the 36 states of the Federation, precipitating the process for the second peer review by experts from the Country Review Mission of African Union (AU). The second peer review of the country's self-assessment report of Nigeria commenced with the arrival of the experts led by His Excellency Dr. Aboduli Janeli with other 6 members. Upon arrival, the members were led by the Chief Executive Officer of Auda-Nepad APRM Nigeria, Princess Gloria Akobundu, on a courtesy visit to the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Barrister Boss Mustafa.
He wears double cap in this project. He's also Nigerian focal point for APRM. So we deem it necessary that the first point of call should be a visit to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation for 2 reasons. One, sir, to formally report to you that the Country Review Mission led by Dr. Abdullah Jani has arrived in Nigeria with his members for the conduct of the second review exercise of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, starting with validation exercise, that's validating the country's self-assessment report, which is approved through your support and eloquent presentation at the Federal Council meeting, where Mr. President approved the documents, and also the Federal Executive Council gave their approval.
Let me at the onset express my appreciation for the support and the leadership of the Nigeria APRM process, which has been led by nobody but the President himself, supported ably by the government, the APRM national structures, including yourself, Your Excellency, as the focal point, the chair of the NGC, Honorable Princess Gloria.
While thanking the team, the SGF emphasized the importance of the exercise in the continent.
Review process which you have come to validate. And the objective of the founding fathers of this exercise was truly informed by the desire of African leaders to provide an enabling environment for good governance to thrive on our continent, and that the people of the continent in different countries would experience the good things of life which they rightly deserve. And I believe,
speaking further, he reiterated President Muhammadu Buhari's position on the peer review implementation.
The countries which are being validated, whose process are being validated. And for that reason, I can not help but to extend the personal gratitude of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari exercise. And I remember getting to know that in one of the processes where, was it Egypt or one other country that was being reviewed, he sat through the process, preparing himself that one day will come when he would have to sit through a process where his country will also be reviewed. And I believe for every African leader that is desirous of ensuring that his people operate in an environment that would allow them to ventilate their enterprises and their ambitions, would definitely welcome a review of the system in his country.
Cuts calls were also made at relevant agencies to interrogate their activities and experience sharing.
It is not an inquisition into what you've done, but really we share the common goal, common understanding, common desire to really let a second party have a look at what you have done. What have been the challenges, and so on, the recommendations, with a view to really interrogating some of them.
You're all welcome to the National Commission for Refugee, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. I'd like to start by commending all your efforts. You've worked day and night over the last 6 months to 1 year, even during the COVID when everybody was running and being at home, just like us, the frontline agency. You have continued to work to ensure that we finalize our reporting that we have committed to.
The idea of these transitional learning centers is to provide early childhood education as well as vocational skills. And our focus are girls, including adolescent girls, vocational skills. So this is something we hope to, by the end of the year, show some results and showcase, but we're just at the beginning of that stage.
We built trains, and I mentioned the areas: Lagos to Ibadan, Kaduna to Abuja, to Warri, ongoing. We're working on Kaduna to Kano. We've awarded the contract from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. We've awarded the contract from Kano to Maradi.
Challenge my fellow colleagues here, the national coordinator of Nepal, that we should join us in the advocacy so that every government functionary will be conscious of the fact that we need to be guided by relevant and timely circle information in our decision-making process.
Security more than that. Today, Maiduguri, nightlife in Maiduguri today is as vibrant as nightlife in Lagos and Abuja. But it took
But the Public Complaints Commission Enabling Act has been submitted to the National.
And they seem to be pleased with the information we have given to them. So it will help them with their second review, which I guess will be okay for us.
Whether as a journalist, the kind of things you report, your country must come first. You will ask yourself, will it hurt your country or will it advance the interest of your country?
I therefore urge us all to participate actively in this exercise to enable for undiluted process and error-free country-self assessment.
Impressive country, a country that provides leadership in the sub-region.
And enhance good governance in our country and the continent at large.
Majority of the questions, some of the questions that you have for us during the time that we are working on the questionnaire involve, public engagement and all of that. The Chief of Staff to the Executive Chairman will also be part of the team that will work with you going forward. before her appointment, she was heading the External Cooperation Unit of the EFCC. So she is conversant, on issues relating to how we relate to other external bodies within the EFCC, and of course, part of what we learn, from among our partners across the shores of this country as well.
Honorable Secretary of the ICPC, that we've been here for almost 10 days now, almost 10 days, and during this time the welcome has been overwhelming. Everywhere we go, doors have been opened, we have been able to see anybody has wanted to see. The Deputy Chair of the MDC has explained in detail why we are here. We are really here because Nigeria is the first in this sub-region that has produced a self-assessment report. Self-assessment report which is required in the Africa peer review process. This process, as you know, is really an important process. Important in the sense, particularly, that it shows the commitment of our continent to promoting good governance in the individual countries.
Part of what we do in our fight against corruption, there's this component of asset recovery, which Nigeria has been in the forefront in that respect. There's also there's this ethics and compliance scorecard, which we introduced, whereby agencies and MDAs, that is ministries, departments, and agencies of government, are reviewed by the Commission with a view to seeing that their processes and systems are transparent and they are accountable in what they are doing. So the performance scorecard is one of the major tools we deploy in recent time to ensure good governance across MDS in the country.
Things had progressed in some states that they had closed the camps, But of course, for displaced persons to close camps, there must be durable solution. It's not just the political decision to close the camps, but people must have a safe place to return to, where they can start their normal life, and so on and so forth. The state governments have worked with us in respect of all these areas. So, majority of the areas in Adamawa, I think there are no more camps in Adamawa now, and then Yobe also, where you still have some big camps, are now in Borno State, which is the epicenter of the Boko Haram and insurgency.
Also, stakeholders were engaged in an interactive session for inclusiveness.
So this interaction, number one, like I said, is to inform you officially that the review team, the country review team, has arrived, and we're about to commence that town hall meeting nationwide. Then number two is to also respect your personalities and your involvement in strengthening good governance in Nigeria. So that you started with us when we had series of town hall meetings. You submitted your opinion to, and I want to also assure you that your opinion is captured in the report. The report we are validating is your opinion. That is what we are validating. That your submission on gender, that your submission on health, that your submission on labor, production, economy, food sufficiency, political activities in Nigeria, that is what we are validating. So, as civil society in this country, what they want to hear from you, is there anything new? Am I right, Your Excellency? Is there anything new or submissions you want to add that they will use to justify the submission made already.
Now we want to hear from you. It's a simple validation of the report from your part, and say this is a true reflection of what some of our concerns have been. Once you do that, then the team would feel free to engage you further, and say we now have a consensual document in front of us. We have taken into account some of the gaps you think that exist, and then we carry forward.
At the time we met to look at this report, the stricken civic space was still a bit favorable. As we speak, the Nigerian civic space has gone worse. There's some level of repression of dissent voices, and there's need to call for an opening of those spaces. The civic space is where civil society do engage and provide solutions. One of these environments is the civic space.
We are proud of this document, but I really want us to be deliberate on ensuring that disability issues are captured as the main agenda in the thematic areas. In this country, we are over 25 million. We are the most discriminated. We are the most illiterate. We are the most poorest of the poor.
When it comes to inclusion, I'm talking about women's participation in politics. It's something that we have not achieved. We have made tremendous effort to build the capacities of women to participate, to ensure that women register and be part of any political party of their choice. We have done all that is required. But I think what the problem is the Constitution. And just last month, there was a Senate and House of Representatives hearing on Constitution amendment. And we were at all the locations presenting our demands. One is the language of the Constitution. It is not gender sensitive. In our Constitution, you find he and no place for she.
Your Excellency, as one of the TRIs, Technical Review Institutions, the National Institute for Security Studies reviewed the documents. Incidentally, all that have been mentioned this evening appeared there. They are all there. Aside the 4 thematic areas, that's democracy and political governance, economic governance and management, corporate governance, socio-economic development, we introduced the cross-cutting and emerging issues. People with disabilities, political inclusiveness of women, gender issues, all COVID-19 was very prominent.
We are really, at this first glance, highly impressed by the diversity of the partners that you have brought around the table. Madam CEO, we are very happy for this, and we also congratulate those partners who really gave their very best. So it looks for the start, it looks, a very good exercise that you have carried out, and you've got credible results, which we are happy and honored that you're giving us the opportunity to come and interrogate. We'll interrogate, we'll look at it, just not to police you, but to say, this is a second view, and these are some of the issues that we feel that we should be able to help you address, and then so that this report is finalized and then submitted to the heads of state for their review.
Saying that I'm interested to know the compliance level of IPSAS here in Nigeria, because in the report I saw somewhere that the standard was adopted in 2016, and I said that the provision number 33 of IPSAS is giving 3 years before a full compliance. Having adopted the rules in the standard in 2016, now we are 2021. That means from 2020, normally Nigeria is supposed to have been compliant. So I want to know the level of compliance. Thank you.
It is important, though the term civil society is used in a narrow sense here, but it is important to recognize that any organization that operates in Nigeria has to register with authorities of the Nigerian government. For NGOs, they have to register with Corporate Affairs Commission and other regulatory agencies. But for us in the labor movement, we do not only register with government, but we are required by law to return our financial status every year to the Director of Trade Union Services in the Ministry of Labor. So government has access to our finances, where we get money from, what we spend it on, and so on and so forth.